Something is happening. Something is occurring. Forces are amassing themselves to make a great change in the earth. It may not seem like to many people, but some people are already picking up this. I've talked to not spiritists, but spiritualists who feel a change in the atmosphere of the world. Things are changing. The earth is getting ready to go from one stage to the next stage. We are in a planet of atonement now, where we are on earth to pay for our past wrongs. This earth will change to a planet of regeneration, where we will have less envy, hate, wars, and people will care about each other. We'll have a just and equitable society. This doesn't come easy. It means that the whole human race needs to advance spiritually. Why? Why is this happening, and how will this happen? Let's talk about it. The planet is ready for a transition from a planet of atonement to a planet of regeneration. And we know this because Spiritists tell us that two great spirits are coming to Earth to lead our culture away from materialism to spiritualism. Buddha and Socrates. The spirit world has determined we are ready for the next transition to move away from a culture of materialism to a more balanced culture of spirituality, materialism, honesty, caring, and charity. Let's put all this in context. It all started at the time of the Old Testament, when we had the first revelation. Moses gave us the 10 Commandments. Then we jump ahead to 2,000 years ago, when Jesus gave us the second revelation, the New Testament. And then in the 1850s, Allan Kardec codified the third revelation from the Spirit of Truth. All this is each step of the way is preparing our human culture for the next step, for a transition of the planet from a planet of atonement to a planet of regeneration. Now let's even put it in a greater context. The time from Moses to now seems forever for us. But in the book On the Way to the Light by the Spirit Emmanuel, he talks about Atlantis and Lemuria. Both of those civilizations were effectively destroyed by the spirit world because human culture outpaced their spirituality with technology. In the communications from high spirits to G. Val Owen, they said, yes, we have struck down Lemuria and Atlantis and others besides. This whole cycle of building up our culture and our technology and then destroying it has happened over and over again, maybe 3 to 5 times. This is something we have to understand. Now, we are trying once again. Many spiritists are certain this is the start of a planet of regeneration, that we haven't outstripped our culture, our morality with our technology. This is the important part. Let me give you an example, and a small spiral. When Rome was a huge, almost world government within that world of the Western European. But what they did is that the spirit world said in the book, again, On the Way to the Light by the Spirit of Emmanuel, that they were supposed to be an example of a city on a hill. Instead, they tried to conquer the world. What did the spirit world do to Rome? It caused the Dark Ages. What Emmanuel said is those leaders of Rome and those people of Rome were put back onto the land for them to learn morality and spirituality instead of just striving after material goods. So in the context of these various phases, these long thousands and thousands of years phases, when they're trying to bring our earth, our human race, up to the next level, think about this. This is a process by the spirit world to bring us up, see if we're ready. If not, tear us down a little bit, retreat a bit. The spirits call this the spirals of history. We don't go back.
We spiral around. We rebuild on a stronger foundation each time. Spiritists now believe our foundation is strong enough to really build the approach to a planet of regeneration. What we were told by Chico Xavier at one point is that about 3 out of 10 people, when they pass on, when they get rid of their physical body, they ascend to heaven. So that is only about 30% of us here on Earth are really capable of going to a planet of regeneration. Therefore, we know we are just in the beginning stages, if that is what the spirit world chooses. And we must approach, and as Allan Kardec said in his books, that we must approach the majority of people being spiritually advanced, at least somewhat mature, more mature than many of us are now, for us to truly become the next level of a planet, to get from a planet of atonement to a planet of regeneration. So this is the challenge for us. We can individually say, well, I will ascend, but it won't help the earth unless most of us, or the majority of us, ascend. This is why we are in the beginning stages of a planet of regeneration. We are just starting to move people. If we have 30%, we need to get to 50% of the people who are spiritually more mature, or who get rid of their primitive emotions. So now, how are we going to get there? Well, I started this program off talking about Socrates and Buddha reincarnating, but we're also told in books by not only G. Val Owen, but also Divaldo Franco, that more advanced spirits are coming to Earth. People from other planets, spirits who already have achieved the planet of regeneration, who will come to Earth, who will be reincarnated as doctors, politicians, leaders, teachers, professors, leaders of our culture, to show us the correct path. Also, Spiritism says that beginning in the year 2000, more good souls will be born on Earth, reincarnated on Earth, than before. What does that mean? So there's about 21 billion or so, I could be off by a billion, spirits all around the Earth, incarnated and discarnated. So you have to look at the Earth as like a chessboard. As people discarnate, these spirits who have not advanced in their life will not be allowed to reincarnate on Earth. They will be sent to other planets. Whereas the spirits who have potential and have proven themselves and maybe already are in one of the heavenly levels, they will reincarnate on Earth in greater and greater numbers. Therefore, the whole culture in various countries will start moving towards the process and the state the Earth needs to be to become a planet of regeneration. Now, this may take who knows how long. This may take hundreds, thousands of years, but this is the beginning. This sign that we are having these high spirits come back, and more spirits will be incarnated on Earth who have predilection to the good and to the light, is a definite sign that things are happening.
It's not just high spirits coming to Earth and good spirits coming to Earth. It is the spirit realm around the Earth sending us ideas, emotions, intuitions, waves of good thoughts, waves of longing for a better, less materialistic life, a culture where there isn't moral relativism, a culture where we actually listen to each other. We're not afraid to debate. We are kind to each other.
A high spirit told the Reverend G. Val Owen that the Earth and the culture, the humanity on it, we are like on ships, and we have been heading towards the round, to go around the pillar of materialism, and we are now almost at the peak of materialism, and we are turning the corner on our big ship called Earth towards spirituality. This is what he says, and we need to turn that corner in order to achieve the true evolution. The true, what many people say is the revelation, the apocalypse. The apocalypse will happen gradually, but the division between those souls who look for the light and those who do not will really happen in the spirit world, where those who have incarnated and have, for some reason, have decided not to improve themselves, they will be sent to other planets of atonements, or maybe even primitive planets. While those of us who have striven to improve ourselves, to change our personalities, will be allowed to either stay on Earth and be part of this wonderful paradise, which it shall become as a planet of regeneration.
What I have talked about here is a process that spans thousands upon thousands of years, going from a primitive planet to a planet of atonement where we are now, and now we are approaching a planet of regeneration. These are all processes created and guided by the spirit world. This is why it is so important to study, not to passively let me talk to you, but for you to study Spiritism, to understand where are we in the context of today? Where are you in context of today? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be part of a planet of regeneration? If you wish to be a part of this next level of Earth, this paradise to be on Earth, study Spiritism. You can start with my series of 3 books, Heaven and Below, Spirits in the Spirit Universe, and How Spirit Guides Us. And in fact, this whole talk today is covered in much more detail in how we are guided by spirits in my 3rd book of my trilogy of information given to the Reverend G. Owen by high spirits. It is a marvelous thing to understand that we are being shepherded to become productive members of spirit society, to be part of guiding evolution and life on other planets and this planet. So please, do what you can. Please study, tell your friends, please subscribe to this channel, and above all, try and be as kind and loving as you possibly can. Forgive everyone. Start your spiritual ascendance today. God bless.